back, True Seeker. Ready for some more mind blow? I have to dedicate this stream to Lord Jamar and our friend the Chaotic Truth and all of the other darker complected men out there that are repping the orange clown, and seemingly all for clout and to make money, and with it selling their souls if they even believe in such things. And this doesn't mean supporting Kamala was the right choice. No, the only right choice when it comes to the two-party rig system is abstaining and exposing, not supporting either party, but again, abstaining, meaning not participating, and exposing, as in exposing how corrupt it is and being part of the movement to end federal tyranny. Now, Lord Jamar, I got to call out the most because he's a 5%er. He's part of the hip hop legacy. He's remembered for discovering the act Dead Prez, who have the very anti-white establishment album. They have the song They Schools. So for Lord Jamar in 2024 to be getting all of this attention for being a Trump guy, it needs to be called out. And I'd love to have a debate with Lord Jamar. And Lord Jamar is somebody who I can get on his show. And Lord Jamar 4 years ago was repping my book, which I'll always be grateful for. But very bad behavior cannot be condoned. And Lord Jamar, if you want to debate, are you up to the challenge? Because you've been talking big about who are real men and how real men are voting for Trump. I'd say no real men voted for Trump. I'd say real dummies voted for Trump. Pathetic. I mean, I don't want to call you pathetic, Lord Jamar, because I don't think that you are, but I'd say your 2024 behavior was. Again, bad behavior can be forgiven. And again, we're gonna go over just what a sick rig joke this all is, and for all the people who got pulled into it, shame on you. As they say, fool me once, it's okay to get fooled once, but you shouldn't be getting fooled twice. So if you made the mistake of participating in the rig selection of 2024, I mean, you already should have known better, really, especially if you're my age or older. I mean, which one of these rig selections hasn't been rigged? They've all been a joke in the 21st century. You got to be a little bit slow up here to not know that. And see, the thing about Lord Jamar is I think he knows all this. I think there's a reason Lord Jamar got handpicked at age 56, as we'll come back to essentially sell his own self out and his own legacy out to stump for the chump. And I almost forgot that Lord Jamar even had an acting role on Jesuit-run HBO's Oz. Yeah, Lord Jamar had a longtime character on Oz. I almost forgot about that. Lord Jamar. But somehow, someway in 2020, he was proud to show off my book on his stream and talk about it multiple times. And I just don't know how you can go from that to what you're doing in 2024, because that same book shows what a chump Donald Trump is and what a puppet stooge he is, just like Elon Musk, who he now appointed to his new contrived government agency of efficiency. What is it called? The Department of Government Efficiency, established on the Superior General, aka the Black Pope's birthday. We're going to get to that too in this stream, with that other scumbag who got rich off pharmaceutical tyranny. Vivek needs to get shipped back to India. Anyhow, Lord Jamar, you're definitely getting called out tough in this one. I do appreciate you letting me on your stream, but you also kind of rushed me off. I mean, let's be honest, Lord Jamar. Why rush off a man who's dropping nothing but facts and knowledge that can enlighten and change the world to bring on some obese woman who's shoving food down her throat? What's her name? The woman that supposedly dated every hip hop star in history. I mean, again, she's getting way too much attention right now. Her coming on there talking all that nonsense, that doesn't do anything for the world. Watching a fat woman shovel food down her throat, it's gross. It's gross. Yeah, she might be more popular because the algorithms push her. Because you know what the algorithms push? They push trash. They push bullshit. They push stuff that dumbs people down. That's what these algorithms are here to do, to get them to support rigged selections and vote for clowns like the chump and Kamala. again, nobody needs to watch an obese woman shovel food down her throat and cap about hip hop history that she really doesn't have any part of. I mean, let's be honest. And also, again, I was on Lord Jamar recently's podcast, and he does listen, but then he rushes me off. He acts like he's got people in the back room, and he doesn't. And the reason he's rushing me off is because I'm going against what he's doing. I'm showing how Donald Trump's nothing but a puppet and a stooge. And he's let me talk about it, but at the same time, he realizes it's going against his shtick right now, so he can only tolerate so much. Again, if your opinions are true, you have to allow yourself to be challenged. That's why I always accept any challenges from any challengers, and they all get smoked. Like right now, the trolls are going around spamming lies. It's all they got to fight to miss. The only thing the trolls can ever do is lie about me. Right now, they're spamming everywhere. Zach went 3-13 in his picks the last 2 days. Funny enough, I went 13-3. So the trolls have to invert it. That's getting spammed everywhere on the web right now. I went 3-13 when the truth is 13-3. Not too bad. Just another par for the course example of what we've been doing for over a decade, showing how the whole game's rigged. Pro sports, rigged selections, rigged news. And again, here's the other man I have to call out, the Chaotic Truth Live. And I do like the Chaotic Truth Live. I've been spending less time here in recent days and more time on his panel talking to him, and he is entertaining the work. But what I don't like is that I can tell that he's also not being honest, because he has to keep up his pro-Trump shtick. I can tell in his mind he knows what I'm saying is true, but he can't admit it. He has to go, yeah, it's interesting, but I don't believe it. Yeah, you do. Stop lying. And again, if you don't believe it, first of all, you're using language wrong, because there's nothing about belief with my work. It's all facts. It's all evidence. Belief is when there is no evidence. There is no facts. Okay, I have to accept this text written by people 1,000 years ago. That's when you have to believe. When there's no proof of who the authors are or that any of the story is true, that's where faith and belief comes in. The word with lie right in the middle. And that's what the authorities love for everyone to do. Believe in this mystical man from all these years ago, or else. Believe in the Big Bang, or else. And realize there is a major connection with science and religion. The same people are controlling it all. Big Bang is just like Genesis. You can't prove either one. They're both based on beliefs. What we do over here is not based on belief. It's based on undeniable facts. And quite frankly, the only people who deny it are people who suffer from cognitive dissonance or people who are just straight up stupid. And Chaotic Truth is not stupid, neither is Lord Jamar, but they're both making good money from stumping for Trump. And this is the problem with the money system. It gets people to do things that they know they should not do. They will sell their souls. They will sell their integrity if it pays the bills. And that's something that I have never done. I've always stayed true and consistent. I've never jumped on any bandwagon or wave to ride where there is big money. I mean, you've seen people like Retard from Boston go from no subscribers to quite wealthy from promoting the flat earth psyop. And that's something else Lord Jamar's doing right now. And Lord Jamar, seriously, if you want to come on here and debate that the selection wasn't rigged for Trump and that the earth's flat, you're going to go 0 for 2, and I'm just letting you know the score before you get here. But maybe you should do it the way you've been talking a big game. You're going to see what it looks like when you have to debate someone with intelligence. The earth isn't flat and elections are rigged, okay? Point blank, period, you're not going to win. 0-2, guaranteed score. Guaranteed. And realize you might have a pack of like retards behind you that are like, yeah, the earth is flat. But again, a pack of retards, their opinion ain't worth shit. And that's also why there's rigged selections. And that's why they're never going to count the votes of the masses. Because most of the masses, pretty low on the IQ scale, not very intelligent, and no place to have any opinion about anything in terms of how the world is run and operated. Intelligent people run this world. They are evil. They are greedy. They're never going to let the dummies ever, they're never going to let their opinion matter in anything. They'll give them their little rigged selections so they can feel like they're participating and they did something as they choose between the two stooge candidates who represent the same Jesuit cabal. But again, smart people are never going to let dumb people make decisions. You know, when I'm in a room of people, like, you know, how most of us had to grow up in classrooms with 30 to 50 other people in there when we went to college, might have been 200, 300. This might sound arrogant as hell, but I've always been the smartest guy in the room, and I didn't give a shit if all other 30 people thought something different. That didn't sway my opinion, because I know a pack of sheep, a herd of sheep, their opinions don't matter. They can all be wrong together like they almost always are. Look at all the retards that march into the rigged sports games, into the voting booth. Should be plain as day that they're participating in something rigged, that's a manipulation about meant to play with their energy and their mental, but they're not smart enough to know. Okay? So people who are smart enough to know, like yours truly, they come here and they expose it, and they drop facts, and they leave behind the undeniable. The undeniable. But still, the dummies, it still can't even register in their brain. You know, when I was on this Chaotic Truths panel, like this other guy on the screen here, Osa, you know, not a smart guy. I mean, we're talking about double-digit IQ, no doubt about it. And it's not about race. It's just about the guy's dumb. He brought on a white guy a little bit later who was a cop, who probably even had a lower IQ. I mean, he was probably rivaling the single digits. And the cop came on and goes, "At first, what I thought you were saying was just dumb, but now I realize you're totally crazy." And I'm going to come back to what he said was totally crazy. You guys should look into the average IQ of police officers. We're talking about a real low bar. Most of these guys can't even get into college, as easy as that is. But here, let's go through the undeniable. I did not realize, I wish I would have been aware of this when this happened on September 19th. I mean, it would have just confirmed what we've been saying for the last 3 years even further. But I did not realize that Oprah and Kamala, and remember, they brought these two together on the Illuminati's birthday, May 1st, 2020, with the show that Amazon put out where it shows them as the presidential ticket in 2020, Kamala, Oprah. But I did not realize that these two had an event in Oakland County, Michigan, 47 days before this election, as Oprah wore orange for the Orange Goon. And again, it was Oprah in 1988 on April 25th who asked Trump if he would like to be president someday. And again, we'll come back to how all this is. But what this post is going to be about is area codes. Again, Oakland is the 248 area code. And the country is 248 years old, as is the Illuminati. And as we've been talking about for years, when the rigged selection was called for Trump in 2016, it was called while he was on 248 electoral votes with 88% of the vote in. Notice how Trump is 88 and President Donald Trump is 248. And remember all these numbers up here, because they're all going to come back to this ritual they just did in Oakland, which was 47 days before the selection and 48 days before it was called for Trump. But again, with 88% of the vote in, called while on 248 electoral votes. Let me zoom that in so you can see it bigger. And notice it was 218 to 248. Both of these numbers are big with Trump. I'm pretty sure the House is going to end up with 218 Republicans, and it's going to be a sweep. All three branches, as we've been saying. Notice the vote was 48 to 47%. Again, this stuff is all fake. It's all contrived, you guys. It's all totally numeric ritual, and it's really logical to understand why. It's not crazy. It's having common sense. It's putting facts together. The federal city is known as the Masonic City. Masonry is based in Kabbalah. Within Kabbalah, there's a practice of coding numbers into words that's known as Gematria or Gematria. Okay? It's that simple. Trump literally keeps up a plaque on his wall about Kabbalah. And he wrote in, I forget which one of his books right now off the top of my head, but he has a section about his Kabbalah teacher when he was younger. Okay? This guy's well aware. He's well aware. But all right. This meeting in Oakland County, Michigan, okay? The 248 area code, when Trump already had this history of 248, and remember, Kamala was at Howard, and everybody there was so depressed, and Kamala's stepdaughter was crying, and the crowd was very disappointed. And like we talked about, Howard, from its establishment anniversary to the date of the selection, was 248 days later. Okay? These are perfectly planned rituals. And just like when I started in 2013, one of my earliest theories when I was beginning to understand this whole code of letters and numbers was that the university system was instrumental on what's going on in this nation. And understand, I was trying to figure out what was up with numbers and rituals from the day 9/11 happened. I did not find this practice of coding numbers into words until 2013. But I knew there was something up with numbers and rituals and patterns. And as they say, intelligent people recognize patterns. As you can also see, dopes, which are the majority of society, and see, people get mad at me for saying these things, but do you see what it says on my hat? It says truth matters. And the truth, it doesn't go around tough topics like we live in a society of dopes, because we do. Low IQs, really dumb people, people who hate truth, people who love entertainment, people who love essentially getting pounded in their ass by this federal government. And I'm not really blaming the people. I'm trying to show how it's happened. These people have purposely made society stupid through 13 years of indoctrination, pledging to 13 stripes, where you learn almost nothing important. The things that are important are quickly rushed through and taught in non-coherent ways. You're purposely poisoned through your food system and your water supply. And the entertainment that's fed to you and the indoctrination through the entertainment also makes you stupid. And again, you should know this because you have a society that makes fun of intelligent people. It's been this way for all of our lifetimes. We make fun of intelligent people. If you want to kick it, you got to be a little bit dumber or even play down your intelligence. A lot of smarter people play down their intelligence so they can fit in with the herd. And again, if you eat well, you'll notice that your friends and family will make fun of you for being intelligent about your diet. This is a purposefully made, dumbed down herd. And that's exactly what it is. Okay. The kind of people that when you're sharing these things, they immediately go, "Oh, do you know how dumb you sound?" It's like, here, I wish I could register the IQ. Oh, look at that. Double digits. Hey, check mine out. It's double yours. That's funny. You got double digit IQ and mine's double yours and you think I'm dumb. Again, intelligent people sound crazy to dumb people. And that's why so many people will call me crazy when I'm here dropping undeniable facts every day. I mean, for how many years have I taught you about the CIA being the Catholics in action as they appoint the new CIA head on the Superior General's birthday, and he's Catholic educated at Notre Dame, appointed by Jesuit educated Donald Trump? A dummy will be like, that's got to be a coincidence. Again, that's your double digit IQ speaking. Okay? Double digit IQs don't need to speak. And you don't really. You just sit there and play the little games they give for you so you feel like you're doing something. You feel like you're important, but really you're not. You're just a little cattle. You're a little cog in the machine they built. So you'll go out there and make tax revenue for them, buy their shit products, put their shit food products in your mouth. That's the real purpose of your existence. And if you didn't realize that before, now you can know that that's the truth, because it always has been, until this system's broken, which so many of you don't want to break. You want to hate the messenger showing you what it is. That's the reality of the situation. And again, that's because of the double-digit IQs, which are way too plentiful. And don't be proud because you barely made it into the triple digits. You're classified in the double-digit category yourself, okay? What did Trump say he likes? He said he likes the uneducated, okay? He said he likes the uneducated. Here we got a question real quick. He says, how does it make sense for them to select Trump, who wants to destroy years of their work? What are you talking about? Okay. Thank you for the super chat. That came from one of the double-digit IQs. He wants to destroy years of their work. What do you mean? He puts the swamp in for his administration. He appoints other Jesuit puppets. He's the father of the jab. He increases drone bombing on brown people. He signs off on over $10 trillion in banker loans, which makes them richer and richer. And understand, inflation benefits the ruling class where it hurts everybody else. So again, thank you for the super chat. But total double-digit IQ question. Okay, moving on. Let's keep going through it. We won't even talk about what's encoded in "We've Got Her Back." It equals the same thing as Kamala Devi Harris, the same thing as Whore Babylon. And remember, the Whore Babylon's described as wearing purple with a pearl necklace. And again, a pearl necklace is also what you get when you suck your way to the top. But of course, Kamala wore the purple with the pearl necklace on Inauguration Day. Oprah's well known for the color purple. Again, we've talked about what they did to Prince, Mr. Purple Rain, the time Trump won the first rigged selection, as well as his girlfriend Vanity the day of the Grammys. We'll come back to all that. Well, look at this. This event was September 19th. September 19th. From that day to the rigged selection was 47 days. And here was an event for, let's make Kamala number 47. And Trump is Mr. 47, as we've talked about a gazillion times. So they had their little powwow in the 248 area code, while, again, the country and the Illuminati are 248. Going with Trump's history already with 248. Going with Trump's mugshot on 24/8, which was Vince McMahon's birthday. And don't forget how they sync this whole thing up with the world of WWE as well. All the layers to this rigged ritual that was foretold decades in advance, and it was. We've covered it all. But yes, 47 days after the event was the rigged selection. And again, if you're new here, this Kabbalistic practice of coding numbers into words. There's 4 base ciphers, the alphabetic order, the reverse alphabetic order, and both orders with numerology. You know, brain dead double-digit IQs all arrive at the same conclusion. Oh, if you have 4 ciphers, I bet you can make anything equal anything. Here, you want to take that bet? Because I'm going to take your whole house, okay? You want to make the bet that with 4 ciphers, you can make anything equal anything? I mean, just on the surface, you see why it's a dumb statement. But, you know, double-digit IQs. They can't come to logical conclusions. So anyway, Trump's done about a gazillion 47 rituals. And just realize, president, White House, government authority, Republican, Whig, Democrat, DC, Trump, they equal 47. They equal 47. And remember, the Masons, DC is known as the Masonic City. They study the 47th problem of Euclid. And see, what an intelligent mind would do, rather than be like, oh, wait, so it took multiple ciphers to make all those things equal 47? See, that's what the Goya mind does, the double-digit IQ mind that's ruled over all across this world by smarter people. A smarter mind would be like, wait a minute, let me look into 47. That kind of reminds me of this nation's birthday. Oh, that's right. I actually, outside of my 13 years of slave school, I actually heard that the nation was established by a lot of Masons. That's funny, because now I think about the first degree of Freemasonry is the honored apprentice. And how did we get to see Trump as an authority figure? Oh, that's right, on The Apprentice. So, 4th day, 7th month, you know, Lincoln, who turned the Whig Party into the Republican Party. By the way, Lincoln spent a lot of time in Chicago. We'll come back to why that matters. He said 7 years ago. And of course, he could have said that other ways. He could have been like 87 years ago, because that's what 4 is. You know, the average dum-dum doesn't even know what score means. It means 20 years. 7 years ago is 87 years, but he had to put it in that 4-7. And how many of us had to remember that speech coming up in slave school? See, the Indian kids that have all the best paying jobs here in America, if you haven't noticed, go to all the big tech places where the starting job salary is about $150,000 a year. You know, the people building the surveillance state that aren't American, that are over here on work visas. When they go to their schools in India that are like cardboard boxes, where the taxpayer doesn't have to give up their whole paycheck to pay for all the expensive schools here in America that raise fat dummies that end up working at Walmart. Again, these schools that are like cardboard boxes in India, the reason why they have no budget for their students and dog shit school buildings, but produce way more intelligent people, is because they're not going to school and having to remember what the president said in 18 whatever and remember the exact word for word. Because you know what? That doesn't do shit for you. That's a waste of your time. If you would learn how to do math and critically think and read and write and a little bit of science and logic. I mean, you see, the reason the flat earth psyop works is because people don't understand math. They don't have critical thinking skills or logic, and they don't understand enough about science. Yes, there is real science. There's also scientific I'm not saying it right. It's early in the morning, but that's what we saw in the time of the scandemic, where, oh, this is the science today. Oh, this is actually the science today. Oh, actually, it's this science today. That's not real. Okay. There's a difference between sound science, and then there's also the dummies that are like, I don't care about any of this because all I care about is my 13 years of indoctrination, and all I care is if it's actual math or science. Well, hey, smart guy, there's something called the occult. This is the occult, and they are what rules over you. Yeah, and you should know that if you knew a little bit more history, because look at how many of these members that were founders were in the occult and in these societies that study these things. There's a reason they study the 47th problem of Euclid. There's a reason they put this number all over. There's a reason why in the background, let me make it bigger real quick. There's a reason why in the background I've had a license plate up behind me forever that says, what is 47? Because I've said forever, if you just learn about this number, you will learn to see through the rituals and how often they put this number 47 in news stories when it just does not need to be there. Okay. By the way, the other thing that I want to point out that's wrong with the world is I look up and I see that I got one super chat. This man, Chaotic Truth, I'm not hating on him, but he gets up on the screen and he talks about how much of the world he doesn't give a shit about, how he wants to see everyone destroyed and suffer. He only cares about his own self-interests. And again, in a way, what Chaotic Truth represents is exactly what religious people warn of. Chaotic Truth is an atheist who only cares about science. And see that, I mean, it's not to say that all atheists will become selfish and self-fulfilling, but he literally tells this to his audience and they don't care. They just keep feeding the cause. He's making great money building resources to do his show. And of course, you know, I'm not going to complain. I'm pretty sure I built way more resources than his, but the only way that yours truly builds resources is through dominating the world of sports picks. I have to help people make money to have people invest in what I do. For dropping the biggest truth bombs ever dropped, it's like Truthashima every time I turn on the computer. There's almost nobody that wants to support that. And I'm dumbfounded by it. Again, it reminds me of just like why people got to go. You know, it's Genesis 6:6 time. People would rather invest in you know, just shills and people who don't even give two shits about them, have no real movement to make the world better. I mean, I cannot figure it out, you guys, other than the world, the people really suck in it. And for all of you getting butthurt that come here, again, you must be one of the people I'm talking about. I know that 10% of the populace is not what I'm talking about, and 10% of nearly 400 million, which is what the new estimated population of the United States is 40 million people. So where are those 40 million people supporting your boy on the screen? Nowhere to be found. So maybe I'm wrong about 10% of the nation being up to snuff. Maybe it's more like 1/1,000,000th of a percent, because that's what it appears to be. So anyhow, all this 47 stuff, right? All this 47 stuff. Notice also, how many times have I talked about this? Donald John Trump in 220 and how Inauguration Day falls on the 220th day of his age and the rituals they've done with him and George Wallace in 220. Now, both men who supposedly got shot on the campaign trail who are both racists. Also, how RFK Jr. joined Trump on August 23rd this year. He ended his own race, asked people to take him off the ballot, and he said he was going to align with Trump because he didn't want Kamala to win. Again, RFK Jr. did that on the 220th day of his own age. But notice, Oakland County, Michigan's 220 like Donald John Trump. And again, it's Oprah who led this event for Kamala, the same Oprah that asked Trump way back in 88 if he'd want to be president someday. And don't forget, she did it on April 25th, which is typically the 115th day of the year, but it was the 116th day because it was a leap year. And that goes with how when Trump took office the first time, he took office with the 115th Congress and was in there for the 116th Congress. And it goes how with this time around, the election fell on November 5th, 115, and it was called for him on November 6th, 116, because all of this stuff is that planned and coordinated. And again, from this event in Oakland County in the 248 area code, to the election being called for Trump was 48 days later. Oakland County's 48, like Donald Trump, like Hollywood, like Illuminati, okay? And Oprah's Hollywood, so is Trump. The Illuminati is a real thing. It was founded by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt. The Illuminati is 248 years old. Trump's face is literally in the Illuminati card deck. And I'll remind you, this is something we talked about before any of the assassination crap happened. We said there'd be multiple assassination stories in this election cycle. We said it the day that RFK filed his paperwork on April 5th. And remember, the enough is enough card in the Illuminati card deck with Trump's face on it, enough is enough equals 78. Like how old Trump is right now, 78. Again, Kennedy, 78. The insurrection was 78 days after Kamala's birthday. We've been saying this stuff for years. It foreshadowed why this would be the selection between these two when he was 78. They refer to Trump as an insurrectionist, which is also 78. But anyhow, the Illuminati, 248. The Illuminati is who puts people on the world stage, makes the Oprahs of the world famous. And again, just the fact that they had her go out there and wear orange for the orange goon. I mean, what do you think orange equals, you guys, in Gematria? It equals 60, right? Like this was the 60th election, like Donald Trump 60, like Kamala began dating Willie Brown when he was 60 and she was in her 20s, getting the pearl necklaces from Willie. And we all know what happened to Trump's ex-wife because he's an abuser of women. Once they've depreciated in physical value, he's on to the next one. He's getting himself a nice little mail order bride, Melania. Ivana's a little too old and wrinkly for him. Now he really doesn't need her, so he shoves her down the stairs July 14th, 2022, exactly 60 weeks into the first Jesuitic Nation year, the same day he says he's going to run the election. He's serving up French fries like the Jesuits are from France on Kamala's 60th birthday at the Golden Arches. And what's the other one that I'm forgetting right now that went with the McDonald's French fries ritual? But then right after that, they're giving you the E. coli story, and they say the E. coli outbreak began on September 27th, which is the anniversary of the Jesuits being recognized by Rome. And you look up who discovered E. coli. It's a Jesuit-educated doctor, and you look into the medical world, and you'll start to see that pretty much the whole medical world, as you know it, is accredited to Jesuit doctors, Jesuit-educated doctors, because, again, they are the Illuminati network. It was the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt who founded the Illuminati. And here's something we've been talking about since, speaking of the Illuminati, I mean, this came out on the Illuminati's birthday in 2020. Upload Amazon TV show released on the Illuminati's birthday foreshadowed a Kamala and Oprah Winfrey ticket. They even used orange in the background. If you guys have not seen the show Upload, just turn it on. It's in the opening minutes of the show. The guy walks into his house for the first time, and right in the background is that. So it'll be this futuristic show. Don't forget the Boondocks. The Boondocks also had the cartoon from many years ago where you get the first black woman as president, and that was Oprah in 2020. And it ended up being Kamala as the VP nominee. And again, there's still time left in Biden's term for not Oprah, but Kamala to become number 47. Could come as soon as Thanksgiving in tribute to the Indians. But yeah, again, there's a lot more to this as well. From the day that the election was officially called back in 2020, from this episode coming out was 191 days. That's the Society of Jesus. That's the formal title of the Jesuits who founded the Illuminati. So, again, more people do need to upload the right things to their brain. This post is from when, you guys? This post is from. We're on this stuff as it happens again and again, calling out the future way before it happens, how it's all connected. We were talking about this November 7th, 2020, okay? Read this older post on Oprah, and this must be the one. This is the one about the Boondocks who predicted Oprah would become president. Hold on. There it is. This is from the Boondocks right here. November 8th, 2020. So realize it was one day before that Kamala became the first black woman to be in the White House. And this is from years earlier. And realize November 8th, 2020 was a date with 59 numerology, like it was the 59th election, synced up with the Pope, with all the 59 connections. Again, Benedict stepped down on the 59th day of the year. Pope Francis equals 59. He completed his first year with the Jesuits in 1959. I remember, Biden became number 46 exactly 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday. We were pretty much the only people on the internet who were saying Biden was going to win that election. Everybody thought it was going to be Trump. So no, you don't understand who runs the nation. It's the Catholic Church. It's the Jesuits. They're going to pay tribute to JFK, who was killed at 46. 46 is a big time number to the Catholic Church. 46 books in the Catholic Old Testament, and Gematria Catholic equals 46. They did Beau Biden dirty at age 46 for the election. Again, it all starts to make sense why Beau Biden died 201 days before the first Jesuit Pope, the first to live in Suite 201, 201 days before his birthday, when Inauguration Day is the 201st day of the nation's age, 20/1. Also has to do with why Trump buried his ex-wife on the 201st day of the year after she fell down the stairs and died exactly 60 weeks into the first Jesuit Ignatian year. So anyhow, this 248 area code thing, right? So we had this ritual in the 248 area code with Kamala and Oprah in a swing state that Trump ended up winning. And speaking of area codes, where's it at? All right. Speaking of area codes, let's talk about it again. Trump supposedly ends up winning the election with 312 electoral college votes. Kamala only gets 226. And I know Lord Jamar, I dropped on him the long history of 42 in Black history, which you should have already known from reading my book. But what was funny is, just like in Chaotic Truths chat, people do like it, but then there's plenty of people and they're like, oh, you got to be kidding me with these 42s, please. What do you think? Everything's Jackie Robinson? Yeah, now Kamala got 42% of the Electoral College, and let's talk about it more. Okay, 312, we're going to talk about how that's 58% of the Electoral College, and how Oprah Winfrey, who operates out of the 312 area code, how she's got the 58 connection, like Trump won the first election back in 2016, which was the 58th after announcing from the 58-story Trump Tower. We're going to bring it all together. But 312 is the Chicago area code. Again, where Oprah does her business with her show, where Kamala's DNC was, where Fred Hampton, the Black Panther, was assassinated, just like Kamala spoke on Huey P. Newton's death anniversary, a man who died at 47, who founded the Black Panther Party, who came up with Kamala's father in the political activism scene in the Bay Area, Oakland. That's also part of the joke of them doing this in Oakland County, the 248, as Trump, Mr. 248, wins the election over the Oakland gal, who grew up not too far also from Oakland, Michigan, because she spent part of her life in Wisconsin, where the state motto is forward. And remember, you had Shepard Fairey, Shepard Fairey, who does the Obey posters, Obeys 47, who did the Obama Hope poster by the numbers. But you had Shepard Fairey put out his new image for Kamala on the Jesuit Order's birthday, August 15th. By the way, Chaotic Truth, that British-sounding woman who comes on your stream after I talk and has no face on the screen, every time she comes on and she lies, and you guys don't stop her. She came on and she said that I lied, and because she said that the Jesuits weren't created in 1534. She said they were created in the 1400s. I mean, and what's crazy about dumb people is they just want to cheer for people who say things they want to agree with. So I was watching the stream when that happened. They're like, oh yeah, she called him out. And it's like, did anybody look it up? Because the Jesuits were created in 1534 and they were recognized by the Roman Catholic Church on 1540. Again, August 15th, 1534 is the birthday when they were established in Paris, France. September 27th, 1540 is when the day they were recognized by the Roman Catholic Church with the original mission of stopping the 95 Theses. September 27th leaves 95 days left in the year. But yeah, I get tired of trolls seemingly winning arguments by just lying because dumb people don't look into what they're saying. And that's how dumb people are, right? They don't look into anything. They just want to agree with whatever is agreeable to them. They didn't take the time to look into what I said. They're just like, I don't want to believe him. Oh, look, this lady come on and call him a liar. I bet that's true. I bet they were created in the 1400s. Yeah, she got on there and she's like, yeah, so he doesn't even know his history. Like, maybe she read about how Ignatius of Loyola was part of the Alumbrado, which was a Kabbalistic precursor to the Illuminati. That's from the 1400s. But yeah, it's just again, you guys, there's occasional times where I misspeak, but it's pretty obvious what I meant to say. I think the one time I misspoke in the 3 hours I was talking on there is earlier I mentioned Genesis 11:9 in the Tower of Babel. I brought it up 2 hours later and said Revelation 11:9 in Tower of Babel. I didn't mean to say Revelation. That was an accidental misspeak. And again, a smarter person would be like, well, he did say it right earlier. I'm sure he just meant to say Genesis there. A lot of people, though, when they try to denounce me, just deliberate lies. Like the trolls spamming everywhere right now that we went 3-13 the last 2 days. They know that we went 13-3. They know that we went 4-1 in basketball Monday, 7-1 last night. That's 11-2 in the NBA, and 2-1 on Monday Night Football with picks. So that's 13-3. Trolls are spamming everywhere. I went 3-13. And that's a satanic principle, by the way, to invert the truth. And that's what all these politicians do too. And they literally do pay tribute to Satan. So you can say that you don't believe in Satan. The cabal does, and they worship Satan. And seemingly they get power from these rituals, whether you believe it or not. But again, let's go through the 3-1-2 with Trump supposedly getting 312 electoral votes when that is the Chicago area code. And again, if you didn't see me on Callout Truth, like people are trying to come on there like, okay, maybe it is the Chicago area code, but it's kind of arbitrary, isn't it? Because like somebody else could have made a different area code. It's like you just look around and you're like, fuck, man, double-digit IQs are everywhere. Okay, with your dumb argument that's totally irrelevant, let's come back to the facts. Is Chicago the 312 area code? It wasn't made this way. Okay. Oh, it was. Okay. All right. Let's stay right there then. Now, Trump, who's a proud pussy grabber who wants to fuck his own daughter, who's been sued now for abusing women. And I don't know that any of this is true because it has all been a big soap opera, but this is the narrative and story. This is the story that he abuses women, that he's proud to grab them by the pussy. What did he say to Billy Bush, the nephew of the last Republican president before him? He's like, his line was something like, I don't even care if they're married. If I'm attracted to them, I'm making my move. You know, I'm the Donald with no dance moves. You know, I'm going to get the couch, whatever furniture. He said, that's what he said. He said, that's how he likes to seduce the women. He likes to go to the furniture store and he likes to say, hey, what kind of sofa do you want the Donald on? Do you want that mattress over there? Are you a Serta girl? Are you a King Country, whatever these mattress brands are? Are you a Denver mattress girl? I mean, that's probably a little bit cheaper. What do you want the Donald to give it to you on with these little tiny hands? You know what I mean? But these were the lines. Donald, he doesn't care if a woman is married. He's going to seduce her. He's going to take her furniture shopping. He's going to bang her out on the brand new furniture. Again, if we had a reasonable society, like people that understood what morality is, there's no way you'd ever even consider for a second voting for somebody like that. A guy who doesn't respect a family, who can't control his little pecker, if the hands are an indicator. And isn't it funny that him and Mark Rubio are now appearing? I mean, that's the kind of shit that people were talking about back in 2015 and 2016, how small Donald Trump's hands. Mark Rubio's literally on the stage debating that Trump has tiny hands. And that was in the Cleveland Theater. If you want to go back to that debate with all the Grover Cleveland stuff, go back and look. That was the debate in the Cleveland Theater where Marco Rubio was talking about Donald Trump's small hands, and now he's his Secretary of State, because this is the political theater. This is the everyday mockery. But yeah, anyway, 312 area code. Who did Trump beat the first time? Right after Chicago broke the 108-year drought, like Major League equals 108, like there's 108 double stitches on a baseball, like we called it out in spring training, as we've done almost every year with the World Series, all 11 years that I've been here. Still getting no respect. And you know what I hate about dummies when they find the work for the first time? They're like, oh yeah, if you predicted something, predict something right now then. It's like, okay, dumbass, how about go back and look at timestamp stuff from the past and witness all the correct predictions, including the Dodgers right on the money this year. It's like these low-digit IQs, they haven't learned the difference between peekaboo as an adult. You know, like a little child thinks when they cover their eyes, they think nobody else can see anything, you know? They haven't learned yet, the brain's still developing, they haven't learned yet that when their eyes are covered, doesn't mean the other person over here with open eyes can't see. And you can understand that because they're little babies. They're learning to talk. They're learning to walk. They're learning the way the world is. But then you got these adults who just found something And they're like, I don't believe any of it. Predict something right now. You know? It's like, dude, we literally just landed another major prediction just days ago with Trump becoming the latest Grover Cleveland, something we've been spelling out for years in countless videos online and countless blog posts and countless interviews. Been explaining this for a long time. You know, that kid that's dying without his kidney that hangs out there in Orlando and trolls people who are liberals. Years ago, we did a debate with him, and I said, listen, you're going to get your way. They're going to put Trump in there as the next Grover Cleveland. And what's funny is he wants to ignore everything I'm showing, and he just wants to be part of it. Like, oh, we got our guy. Our votes made it. Your vote didn't do jack shit. Your vote didn't have anything to do with the rigged selection. But anyway, Hillary's from Chicago, you guys. So the women he beat, Kamala just had the DNC in Chicago, and Hillary's from Chicago. Oprah does her thing in Chicago. Okay. The 4 presidents connected to Chicago are Lincoln, Ulysses S. Grant. They're both Civil War presidents. We've been talking about for years all the tributes they've paid to the Civil War and Trump. I mean, this is another thing we talk about forever because he's so polarizing, like how the nation was so polarized it had a war against itself. I mean, they did all the Jesuit rituals with that Civil War America movie they put out. They did all those Jesuit rituals with the 2 impeachments of Trump and January 6th, which was synced with Marvel's release of Captain America Civil War. I mean, we've been covering all this stuff for a long time. So Chicago's been the home to 2 Civil War presidents. Of course, it's also where Barack Obama became the rigged selectee in 2008. Come back to that. And then also Ronald Reagan, who also ran on the highest degree of the Church of Satan, MAGA. And again, I watched a guy on Chaotic Truth's panel when I was talking about how Obama joked that Trump would become number 45 days before Trump's birthday on the Church of Satan's 45th birthday. And MAGA is the highest degree of the Church of Satan. I watched him respond by saying, do you know how dumb that is? And how you can just like, see, all the sheep, it's just weird how the hive mind of the sheep works. He's like, I mean, you can always find patterns if you're looking for them. Dude, MAGA is the highest degree of the Church of Satan. Okay? It was said, the joke was told at the White House Correspondents' Center, April 30th, 2011, on the 45th birthday of the Church of Satan, established April 30th, 1966. And keep in mind, he's running from Kamala from the Bay, where the Church of Satan was established, also where the Black Panthers were established, the year of the first Super Bowl season, where they've been syncing all these things up, just like how USA Today wrote their hit piece on me in 2016 for calling out the Super Bowl right on the money in week 3 of that season. Why in the Niners Stadium in the Bay Area, they'd pay tribute to Huey P. Newton through Cam Newton. Huey P. Newton equals 58. Cam Newton became the 58th quarterback to start in the Super Bowl. We said that's why Von Miller, number 58, drafted 1 pick after Cam Newton, would be the MVP of that Super Bowl. We call it all in week 3. We said they'd pay tribute to the Black Panthers at halftime. Lo and behold, they picked Beyonce. And she dressed up as a Black Panther and got criticized for it. We called all this in week 3. I didn't know it was going to be Beyonce because they didn't even pick the halftime performer, but I just said, watch, there'll be a major tribute to the Black Panthers at the game. It's going to be a defensive game because Peyton Manning can't even throw the ball. That's how rigged the NFL is. They're going to put a guy who can only throw wounded ducks at this point. And don't forget, it was number 18's last season, his 18th season. And go back and look at the box score of that Super Bowl. First pass of the game was a wounded duck wobbling slowly through the air to his tight end, number 81, for an 18-yard reception because they couldn't have scripted it any better, like the announcers always tell you. And it's just embarrassing to watch. And I said it's going to be a low-scoring game and a defensive game. And I said Von Miller will probably have like some big sack, strip fumble or something in the game and be the MVP. And that's literally exactly what happened. And haters are going to be like, well, I wasn't here, peekaboo, so it must have never happened, peekaboo. As we've called like every future practically since that. Some retard's going to come along, well, you missed on this year. Okay, like I said, practically every year. Yeah, go through the few that we missed and then add up the whole collection of ones we hit. And look at some of the odds on these futures, like 50-1 and whatnot, and then tell me how much house money you're playing with. Okay. So anyway, look at these 4 presidents and tell me you don't see the parallels. Barack Obama, Trump launches the birther movement. Barack Obama joking about Trump being president someday. All the Civil War stuff. Lincoln and Ulysses S. Grant. Ronald Reagan and MAGA. Pretty self-explanatory how all these presidents are connected to Chicago and where they're going with all this 312 stuff. But if you're a low-functioning pig, like the guy who came on Chaotic Truth's channel, who was a cop, you know, I like to call them pigs because I don't like cops. I'm down with that lingo. They should all be made into bacon as far as I'm concerned. I don't like authority, and I don't need authority to rule over my life and terrorize me because that's all police ever do. You ever needed help from the police? Good luck. They're only going to show up to write you a ticket and cause more problems. But anyway, this low-functioning pig, when I was laying this out, he said, do you know how crazy you sound? We're talking about Chicago and the 312 stuff. Again, you got to be really low-functioning to think this is crazy. And we know there's a lot of people in our society who are low-functioning who do think this is crazy. And again, the explanation is double-digit IQs. Your opinion doesn't matter, low IQ person. Your vote doesn't count, low IQ person. The Illuminati that are light years ahead of you are never going to allow you to have any say. I mean, seriously, why would you let an idiot have any influence in your operation? You run a business. This nation's a business. You're going to let the retards have a say in the way your business runs? Please. No, you're going to end up in the meat grinder. You're going to get used and abused for the sake of the business, for the sake of the agenda. Learn those 7 hermetic principles. You're either doing the influencing or you're being influenced. And all the retards are under one spell, one Kabbalistic spell, where spell means create words and cast magic. And these people do it to you every day while you sit there and think it's only in your Disney movies. Okay. Just for the record, we're going to come back to the... Well, hold on. I should have made the point here. Shit. Hold on. I forgot to hit something with this Oprah and Kamala ritual in Oakland County, Michigan, 47 days before the selection. I forgot to hit you with something here. Okay. The day they did this, September 19th, can you see it was the 263rd day of the leap year? This is the kind of shit I have to deal with. When I drove from Seattle to New York and hit all the major cities in between to bring people together and unite them in truth, and it was a beautiful thing because we brought a very diverse group of people together everywhere. We formed a crowd in every city from Seattle to New York. And the day that I arrived in New York and announced I was there, instantly YouTube demonetized the channel. Okay, so they're like, hey, congratulations on your hard work going across the nation. Demonetized. And then the ultimate insult was all of those beautiful videos and hard work. We're out there on the streets of New York City for the 9/11 anniversary, dropping all these different types of facts, including why the 3 flights that hit targets, 1177 and 175, why they all added up to 263, the 56th prime, which is a number that has to do with Boeing and its history. But more importantly, the Jesuits. Do you remember what YouTube did to that channel with all those videos on it? They deleted it exactly 263 days after 9/11 and us speaking out about that ritual. And that's how you can see that Jesuit-run Google, which it is, that's why they celebrate their birthday on September 27th, the anniversary of the Jesuits being recognized by Rome, and why Sundar Pichai equals the Jesuit order. And you can look at other leaders in their history and see how it all fits together. And again, Google's the company of the 21st century, the century of the Jesuit takeover, which did start with the bang and the Patriot Act and the new surveillance legislation as they sold out your rights and liberties. Because as founders told you, if you give up rights and liberties for protections and safety, you deserve neither. Again, people didn't hear the warnings of the founders. They were too caught up in the moment where the Jesuits know how to work people by their emotions and their fears, because that's all they do every day. Oh my God, did you hear about all the people that just died in the nursing home in their 80s from the killer virus that's 99.9% survivable? You better go get an experimental pokey dog from the most sued companies in the history of the world that just merged just in time for the scandemic, GlaxoSmithKline and Pfizer. You better get together right now. And let's not forget how many 56s they put over the scandemic. Let's not forget I rushed out a book that's 400 pages and got it out in the middle of 2020 in record time for the sake of trying to save humanity, showing what they better not participate in, what they better not become a guinea pig in, and how their whole scandemic would wind down as soon as the year of the tiger came around. But anyway, coming back to this, it was the 263rd day of the year, of the leap year that they met, which is the 56th prime number. Black Lives Matter 56. Hello, Obama, first black president in the 56th election. Kamala takes the White House at age 56 with Biden. They both went there with Biden. Washington, D.C., the Jesuit strongholds 56, like Society of Jesus. Okay. And also that was the day leaving 103 days left in the year. Who runs it? The Jesuits. Again, I'll remind you, it's not 3-6 Mafia. They might have the song, but it's the Jesuits who run it. And Lord Jamar, if you want to call your podcast the God Pod, you got to do way better. Flat Earth is more like the Special Olympian Pod. Donald Trump. Again, I know you're a smarter guy than this, Lord Jamar, and selling out for Flat Earth and the Orange Goon, come on, man, you can do better. I got to imagine having been on HBO, and again, Lord Jamar's 56 years old right now. You know, Lord Jamar gets sucked into the psyop at age 56. Lord Jamar, I mean, literally, you were repping my book. Oh, snap. He just turned 56 too. God, you know, I didn't realize that Lord Jamar's birthday is the same birthday as the Constitution. Hey, if you guys don't know, the Constitution's got the same birthday as the National Fixed League, the Bread and Circus. The same birthday as Patrick Mahomes. By the way, it's the day leaving 105 days left in the year. It's the 105th NFL season. From the Constitution's birthday to the NFL's is 133 days. Government equals 133, like football, like White House, like president, like how the guy from White House, Texas, Patrick Mahomes, won the rig game with all the Trump numbers the night before the rig selection as his mom endorses Trump. Lord Jamar, you better be careful, man. I don't want to be doing your obituary. That's not like a threat or anything. I'm just saying the way they use and abuse entertainers and throw them in the trash can, it's cold, man. And you did it. You did have a character on one of HBO's most known shows, Oz. You know, Sopranos and Oz got it jumping on HBO. HBO's run by Jesuits, you guys. HBO 56, home box office 54 and 72, like Jesuit order, like what they did to Diddy at age 54 and his father in 72. And I went on Lord Jamar's thing and explained that, and he was listening, but he got mad because he wants to get on there and shit on Diddy and become part of the programming of, you know, shaming another black man with all the same stuff that this black man's extra violent, he's a rapist, he's a sexual abuser. This is all the same programming they've done for decades. And Lord Jamar's supposedly a 5%er that stands up against these agendas, but now he's becoming a part of them at age 56. So Lord Jamar, I got to say, shame on you, man. And you should debate. You should debate. You've said on your show, you do respect what I do. You know there's truth to it. But sometimes you got to get called out even by people who want to be your friend. And trust me, at the end of the day, I want to be friends with Lord Jamar. I want to be friends with the Chaotic Truth. Him and I are both 41 years old, ironically. Similar backgrounds. We've worked in group homes. We've taught, but we've arrived at different places in life. And I know where he's coming from. But again, I think selling your soul for money, participating in rigged selections, endorsing candidates who don't even like people that are your skin color, it's wrong. So hold on, let me come back because I keep getting off track. I got to talk about so many things. That's just the way my mind is. There are so many things that are on my mind. And a lot of slower people, they come here and they say, Zach, you talk too fast. You're going too fast. You're talking about too many things. If you really listen, though, it's all connected. It's all flowing. It's all making sense. And you just got to upgrade your IQ. You got to upload better information. You got to keep listening until you can keep catch up. It's just like when you practice with the best, you become better. You know, I was a good athlete when I was younger because I grew up in a neighborhood where everyone was older than me. I had a sister and a boyfriend who was 12 years older. He would play hard against me in sports as a young kid, and that makes you better. A lot of you guys, you just want it easy, and you want to be lazy, and that's how you stay weak and sloppy. That's not what we do over here, okay? Iron sharpens iron. Lord Jamar, you want to come learn about how the earth isn't flat, you come over here, okay? You want to make yourself look dumb and sell yourself out for an agenda, you be my guest, but it's not going to go down good for your legacy, okay? So, coming back to all the rituals with Trump getting 312 electoral college votes, again, on November 6th, the day that the election was called for him. And did we not say that it would be called on November 6th in the early morning of November 5th because of what they did with the Cavaliers game? Because, again, they sync up rigged sports and rigged elections. Again, the Cavs won with 116, getting off to their best start in 48 years when Cleveland equals 48 like Donald Trump. Like Trump had his convention in Cleveland in 2016, right after LeBron won on the real King James's birthday. King James, part of that Jesuit Illuminati history. Again, King James dead at 58. That was the ritual in the 58th election. LeBron wins it on the real King James's birthday. Then Trump wins the 58th election after having his convention in the same stadium. We've been saying this stuff for years. Now this election fell on November 5th, the day the Jesuits tried to blow up King James with gunpowder. Trump's dodging bullets, supposedly, but it's all obvious bullshit. You got to be a special kind of stupid. Talking about those double-digit IQs, those really low IQs. If you fell for the Trump shooting psyop of July 13th or September 15th, or even any of the more recent ones, which I didn't even look into because it got dumber and dumber, like literally like you're Jim Carrey in the third version of the film, Dumb and Dumber, the entire United States of America. If you fell for any of those, your IQ is low. I'm sorry. This is the new IQ test. If you fell for any of those psyops, your IQ is very low, okay? They wouldn't pause on the 13th of July, the Secret Service, with a whole cast of people that are all shorter than Trump so you can see him so clearly. They wouldn't pause under the 13 stripes, 13 weeks from the anniversary of the establishment of the Secret Service and the Lincoln shooting, which both happened on the same day, unless it was all a very obvious photo op, which it was. Again, watching slow-mo, he puts his hand to his ear, puts his hand out here, there's nothing on it, totally clean. Then he goes down to the ground, then he's down there for a while, and one of two things happened. It's all WWE. It's either the razor blade came out for the small nick, which is the favorite razor blade trick of the WWE to get a little blood flowing, plus ears bleed better than almost any part of the body. So, I mean, what a perfect, easy ritual. Or there's a squib down there like they use in Hollywood where Trump's worked plenty of. He's done plenty of work with Hollywood, just like Oprah. Again, if you can't figure these things out, it's because you're stupid, okay? Period. There's no debate. There's no debate. I'm sorry, you're going to get smoked. I have 5,000 other artifacts about how rigged that thing was. And, you know, just going to the chaotic truth panel, you just see kind of how dumb people are when you have to talk to them in real time. Because I kept laying it out for them real slow. I kept going, okay, listen. In 63, 81, and 2024, the Dodgers beat the Yankees in World Series. Okay? In all three of those years, 63, 81, and 2024, again, you had the same World Series outcome. And then so what makes it interesting is if you look at Gematria, Los Angeles equals 109, Yankees equals 109, shooting equals 109. And here I am talking about rigged sports, rigged elections, how they put all these rituals together. If you look from July 13th to the day the Dodgers won the World Series over the Yankees, October 30th, that was 109 days later, and the Dodgers got their 109th win of the season. And then now we just had the death of Mr. Robinson, the LA coach, right before primetime with the Rams, and he just happens to die 109 days after his birthday. And again, that was John Robinson. John Matthew Stafford, the quarterback. That was the 316th day of the year, like John 3:16. But he died 109 days after his birthday. And that literally happened on the same day, later in the day after I was explaining this ritual. But this guy that goes by the name Gimpy kept going like, you know how dumb this sounds? Like, okay, I don't even get what any of these things have to do with each other. And then like, I was just like, and you guys, what I just explained, I explained to him 3 times, and in none of the 3 times did it sink in. The Gematria connection with Yankees, Los Angeles, and shooting. How they all equal the same thing. Why they might use these teams in a scripted ritual. Again, American baseball is credited to Abner Doubleday, a Freemason, just like these federal elections are in the Masonic City. But again, so right there's like the connection of why they would use these things, because they have the right numbers. And then you can, I was thinking about Trump's a draft dodger. He dodged the bullets, the story by him turning to talk about the board with the stats of the illegal immigrants. He dodged the bullet. He keeps saying, it was proof of God. A lot of people think God. I almost understand why people are atheists. Most intelligent people are atheists. I do believe that there is a creator. And I think there is a creator from evidence of what I see, just the way signs come to me in life, things that are way beyond coincidence that I cannot explain. However this world was created, I feel like these are signs of creator and the way the world operates if your eyes are open to see. So I cannot say that I'm an atheist. But you guys, I also mean this too. I almost feel like I'd have to waver on it. I could see the advantages of society being forced, like how religion's been forced on people. I could see maybe the advantages if atheism was forced on population and nobody was allowed to talk about God anymore. I could almost see how it would be a very good thing for society. But what you'd also have to have as a counterpart is you also have to teach morality and like the lessons of Jesus. You'd have to teach the lessons of Jesus and atheism together. It has to be a complete package for it to work. Otherwise, you're going to end up with people like the Chaotic Truth who don't care about anybody else and only care about their own interests. He's a proud atheist who doesn't care about anybody else. And see, this is the downside of like having no spirituality. But there's plenty of good atheists too. It's just, I'm so sick of listening to people talk about God and what God is and how God works when they just sound totally retarded. How many people think God put Trump back in office? I mean, the guy is literally satanic, okay? He's literally satanic. Where did Jesus talk about wanting to fuck your own daughter and grabbing women by the pussy and not caring if they're married? You'll just go fuck her anyway because you're rich and powerful and you can seduce her by taking her to the furniture store and buying a $10,000 sofa. Are these the teachings of Jesus? Is this what God wanted for creation? But you have all these dopes that think this is God. But see, I've always gotten annoyed just listening to people's God shit. It gets real annoying. It's the George Carlin thing. George Carlin, a lot of his jokes are just so true. And he's not the only comedian to joke about it. But you just see like right now how maddening the God thing can be. Oh yeah, God put Trump back in there. This was God's call. Yeah, some people do worship Satan as God. So if that's what you're all talking about, okay, I can see where you're coming from. I'm not worshiping that God. And a lot of you Jesus freaks, that's the one you're worshiping. And you should learn this Gematria thing because Jesus does equal Lucifer. And that's not his original name. And a lot of you Christians are the worst people I've ever met. And that's why you'd even vote for a guy like Donald Trump, because you're not a good human being. Point blank, period. So, yeah, again, understand what I'm saying. I do think there's a creator. I think spirituality is important. I just see everyone's so confused about God. It's obvious almost everyone's wrong about their beliefs about God. I mean, it's literally obvious they're wrong. If you think God put Trump in office, you're wrong. I can prove it all day, okay? You have no proof for anything you're saying. What you have is cognitive dissonance. No, it was God because God doesn't want abortion. Okay, God didn't say anything about abortion in any of your holy books, okay? And I probably agree with you. I don't think Creator wants abortion either. And that's why they mock you too. They overturned Roe versus Wade on Freemasonry's birthday, June 24th. That's modern Freemasonry's birthday, but it's also John the Baptist's birthday. John the Baptist. Let's not forget that abortion equals 122, sort of satanic. It was decided on January 22nd, 122, 122 days after Jane Roe's birthday. And when I laid that one out to Chaotic Truth, he said, I get it. That is interesting, but I still don't believe it. It's like, and then I said, well, what about how the memo leak for before they overturned it was on the 122nd day of the year, May 2nd? He's like, I still don't believe it. I was like, I think you do. I think you just cannot admit it because of ego. And you want to sit here and still kind of maintain the flow of, okay, because you're in this system, man. You're making money off, being pro-Trump and being part of the Uncle T movement. You know what Uncle T's are. And he said he's used to being called an Uncle T, so he knows where I'm coming from. But yeah, Lord Jamar and Chaotic Truth. I do like both of them. I see the intelligence. I think they're both being Uncle T's for the fame and the acclaim and the way it pays the bills. And I don't think that's cool. And that's what I'm calling out. Uncle T-ism is not cool. And don't be the next person to tell me, have you actually looked into Uncle T? Because he actually, it's like, listen, I know what you're trying to say, okay? But we all know what we mean when we say it, Uncle T. They're all over Fox News, right? Those are the Uncle T's, the ones that go on Fox News and rep a political party that purposely targeted black communities with crack cocaine and crazy sentencing to put black men in cages for life because they went and got a little cheap, powdery, highly addictive substance to numb themselves from the pain of having to live in a community that's been targeted for destruction. See, these are agendas on top of agendas. These are dominoes being pushed because they want to put dark men in cages and use them for slave corporate labor. And Trump wants to execute them before they're even deemed guilty or innocent. He wants to not rent to them. And now you got all these Uncle T's repping his name. You got Uncle T's being like, Kamala ain't black. Her dad's Jamaican. They're not even black. It's like, okay. So what, Donald Trump is? Because what, Prince did the song Black Donald Trump and then got sacrificed for him, just like now his sister got sacrificed the day before the election. So is that what it is to be black now? Is that what it is to be a 5%er? Sacrifice a black man for the white man, the new 5%er. Huh? Is that where we are in 2024? The earth's flat and sacrifice black people for white men. And coming back to sacrificing black people for white men, again, one more time from the top. Trump supposedly got 312 electoral college votes, where Oprah from the 312 asked him. You know, Oprah asked him 36 years ago, you guys. Now that I think about it, 666, 36 triangular number. We're just getting mad satanic in all kinds of ways. And you know these people did it on purpose. But anyway, we got Oprah from the 312. We got Hillary from the 312. We got the DNC in the 312. We got these 4 presidents that all clearly connect to Trump from the 312. We got Candyman dead the day the selections called for him. And again, what's the story of Candyman about? The story of Candyman is about a black slave who was tortured wrongfully and murdered and ridiculed as he died. And his tortured soul came back and murdered people who mocked his name or his nickname that he was called as he was murdered. And where is that film set? In Chicago. And he just happens to die that day. And there's a legacy of Trump being a slumlord, like the Cabrini Green housing projects. And there's a legacy of him not renting to black people. So he just happens to die that day, right? All this stuff connected to the Chicago 312. And again, that pig cop, when I was just laying this out, he's like, now I know you're crazy. And it's like, no, I'm just a lot smarter than you. There's no intelligent pigs anywhere, okay? I don't need to hear from a pig that I'm crazy, okay? Again, you guys, you don't understand what my soul and spirit is. My soul and spirit is revolutionary. Like, I want to take pigs and government authority figures and put them all in the wood chipper. You know how they did Candyman dirty? That's how I want to do these people, and I think it is right and just. And again, I think it would be symbolic to make sure people don't try to do it again, because you're going to end up the same way. You're going to end up in the bonfire. You're going to end up tar and feathered. You're going to end up in the wood chipper, because that's where you belong. And for all of you who aren't down with that, I think it's because you've been indoctrinated to bullshit, like false religion, where it takes away your faculties to even have a chance to fight against tyranny. Again, you're reading from some slave text given to you by Romans. Give Caesar what's his. Slaves, obey your masters. You shall not kill. Only the state can. And understand, I don't want to be a killer, but I understand there's a time and a place for it, and that time and place is long overdue. I'm watching these tyrants lie to me every day, overtax me, ritually sacrifice human beings, and what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to sit here and say, well, none of this can be changed until Jesus returns and saves us? See, because that's what a lot of you do say. A lot of you say that. And it comes right from the same book that all these tyrants swear in on. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm a believer. Here, let me do my oath that I'm going to uphold the Constitution. See, look at me. I'm good. I'm being sworn in on this book. I'm about the Jesus thing too. You see? You can't see how all this works. You can't see how obvious all of this is. Here, let me keep on moving. So, anyhow, Kamala, let me get an online calculator so we can make sure we're doing the correct math, because the dopes, they won't research. They'll just assume it's wrong. Online calculator. Here, let's get it up here. All right. Let's add it up together first, because we got to go through all the steps. Kamala got 226 electoral college votes, right? 226, and Trump got 312. So let's add that together. Let's add 226 plus 312 plus 312. Okay, that's 538. Okay, and that's why the winner's at 270, because 269 would be a tie. If you have 270, you have the majority. So let's do 226 divided by 538. Isn't that weird? She got 42% of the vote. So automatically we should know that Trump must have got 58%, right? For the person with a low IQ, let's just make sure that's true. He got 312, the Chicago area code, out of 538. He got 57.9%. So clearly that rounds up to 58. And that's how dopes are, too. They'll be like, actually, that was 57. Nope, that's your double-digit IQ talking, okay? If she got 42, he got 58, okay? Let's not split hairs to prove that we're mental midgets, okay? Trying to establish that you're a double-digit IQ and doubling down on it doesn't double the IQ, okay? Doubling down on your double-digit IQ doesn't make your IQ equal to mine, okay? Let's make sure it's clear. All right, so Kamala got 42% of the vote. Kamala, 42. And again, have we not been going through all these rituals for years? For years. Here, let's go back to this one. Now, you have to go back to my old website. Hold on. Let's go back to my old website. Kamala, blackness, February 11th. Let's go back. I remember this like it was yesterday. Kamala Harris takes on questions about her blackness. February 11th, 2019. For the record, this was the 10-year anniversary of the death of her mom, who was Indian, but that's the 42nd day of the year. Again, for those double-digit IQs. Are there 31 days in January? Probably shuffling around right now. I don't know. Are there 31 days in January? I can't remember. I don't have enough IQ points. There are, okay? It's Jackie Robinson's birthday, January 31st. They took out the Black Eagle in a 42 ritual on his birthday at the start of this year, before they paid 42, or paid tribute to 42 in literally every game of the World Series this year as the Dodgers won. But questioning her blackness on the 42nd day of the year. So this is 2019, right? February, brothers, Bravo Mike. That's what police call black males. Bravo Mikes, the N-word. Moses. Oh, by the way, Moses Walker, the first black baseball player in white major league. He actually played in 42 games. If you want to look it up, he predates Jackie Robinson's from the 1800s. LeBron, slavery, Jackie Martin, Malcolm X, Huxtable, Cosby Show. The list goes on. These were all the 42 related stories that we were covering at the time. What they did with Kareem Hunt, Jussie Smollett. There's so many guys. Cory Booker. There's so many, okay? So anyway, now what they add to it is Candyman. They got to add Candyman in. And by the way, one of the mental midgets that came on Chaotic Truth's panel, he had face tats. Let me tell you something about me. I try not to judge people, but if you have face tats, trust me, I'm going to judge you. I might not say anything, but here's automatically what's going on in my mind. This guy must be a fucking retard. Okay, so anyway, this guy comes on Chaotic Truth panel with face tats, already a sign of a low intelligence type of person that just follows the bullshit they see in the society, and realize as society goes on, culture becomes lower and lower. They'll literally have you desecrate your flesh on your face, okay? But this retard, literally a retard. I mean, I'm not exaggerating, you guys, by calling him a fucking retard. He comes on and he's the type of person that asks a question out of ignorance, and then when you start to answer, he starts talking over you and goes, like hoping the other retards in the circus are going to be with him. But he didn't know how to spell Kamala, right? So he spells Kamala the wrong way, and then can't shut up talking about how it doesn't equal 42. Okay, this is the first thing. And then I noticed that he went on and made a video about this later in the day, and then he even got called out by his own chat. If anybody wants to look up the new Candyman movie, it says, based on something that happened in 1977, a gentleman begins to investigate in 2019, 42 years later. Again, it says it right in the plot of the film. This dumbass went to some website online that didn't have that written up, and he's like, look, do you see any of that anywhere? Anyone can go to IMDb, Wikipedia, any website and see that it says this everywhere. 42 years later, 77 to 29. But he even got called out by the people he was trying to upload the video to. But anyone can also watch the movie, and they can see that in the new remake of Candyman, when he goes to the room where the person got murdered, there's a big 42 painted on the wall behind him. And when that dumb cop was on, he was trying to say that all this doesn't mean anything. He's like, you're looking for patterns. I get tired of listening to the stupid sheep speak. Am I looking for patterns? Did I create that Hollywood set where there's only one number painted on the wall where the Candyman murder happened? Was it me who made the Hollywood set and painted 42 on the wall where they show you the murder? Is it me that told you the plot was 1977, 2019, 42 years later? And by the way, you guys, with regards to 77 and the new Candyman movie being connected to the old Candyman movie and the death of the Candyman actor, the day the election's called with the Chicago Tribune. If the new one starts in 77, how many years later was it to 2024? The poor low IQs, they can't figure it out. Like, where's my calculator? I can't count. I barely made it out of elementary school. Oh, is it 42? No, moron. 2019 was 42. What's plus 5 for 5 years later? Oh, 47. Oh, 47. Isn't that the election number, 47? So, again, a retard out there's like, but that Candyman was in the other Candyman. Yeah, I know. And they're both set in Cabrini Green, and Cabrini Green equals 69, like his age of death. And funny enough, the day that this happened was the first day I went on Chaotic Truth, and I was teaching him about this, and one of the questions I got was, does 69 mean something? And I said, yeah, it's a boss number to the Illuminati. Illuminati equals 69, like the Jesuit order, like Catholic Church. Later that day, Candyman dies, and I wasn't on the panel, but I went back and watched. They said, I wish Zach was here right now to break it down. Hold on, I got to take a phone call real quick. 1 second. I'm going to be right back. All right, sorry about that. I had to take a call. So anyway, she gets 42% of the vote, right? Just nothing but sick jokes here. Same old sick jokes, same old number. I mean, I wrote my book. Here's the other thing about the lemming I'm talking about with the face tats. He goes on and he's like, this guy's talking about Gematria in 2024, and I found a video online talking about this stuff in 2017, and he's trying to pretend like he made these discoveries. It's just like, dude. I mean, do you know how stupid you are? Don't you just hate listening to dumb people? You guys, I'm sorry. That's what I've said in the past. I sympathize with some of the things Small Mustache Man, his ideas. I don't think dumb people should be allowed to live. I don't see what the point of dumb people is. I'm being perfectly honest. Like this guy, you guys, I'm sorry. I would laugh watching him go through the wood chipper. I don't mean to be a cold, mean person, but I would laugh as he went through the wood chipper. And I think, one less worthless piece of shit who didn't need to be here. This dumbass doesn't do any research. He doesn't understand that nobody had figured this out until I came along in 2013, and I've been pumping this out every day. He thinks because he found a video from somebody else in 2017. Dude, my book came out in 2017, dumbass, about the 42 code on Black history. Okay? Face tats. Again, the only people who get face tats are really dumb fucking people. Okay? Point blank, period. Indoctrinated losers who listen to shit music like Post Malone. White boys like you. You want to be Post Malone. I can't even think of anything more pathetic. A whack-ass rapper who doesn't belong on the world stage, who makes whack music, who has face tats. And you want to emulate that. It's because you're a loser. Okay? Point blank, period. So anyway, Kamala, Candyman, Slavery, Jackie, Tuskegee, Martin, Malcolm X, Cosby Show, Huxtable. Dummies think this is crazy. They think it's a coincidence. You can't fix stupid. Here, run it the other way. And see, the dummies thought, oh, you have to run it both ways. See, the face tag guy couldn't even talk. And what was nice about Chaotic Truth is I said, listen, you either throw this loser off the show right now or you don't have me on here. And what I liked about Chaotic Truth is he threw that loser right off. Because he has the discernment to know who's bringing value to the show. So face tats went off and got all butt hurt. And then he made a video like, Chaotic Truth kicked me off the panel for that guy. Yeah, that's because he has a brain. Okay? Didn't want to listen to some worthless loser. And he was thinking the same things I was thinking as I was ripping on your sorry ass. But this dumbass thought it didn't matter. He's like, see, you have to run it both ways. Yeah, that's because the most famous occultist in the world, Aleister Crowley, said you must do things both ways. And he wrote several books on this subject. And you know what else? In the same book from 1926, Manly P. Hall, The Secret Teachings of All Ages, he also wrote about the same thing. So I took the knowledge they shared and applied it in a way that had never been applied before. Okay? That's called adding on to something. That's kind of like how science and math works. People learn something and they say, oh, what can I do with my mind to expand on this knowledge base, this study? And what I've done since 2013 is expand on a major way. And because of that, a lot of people have shared the work on their own platforms. A retard like you goes, oh, I found a video talking about this in 2017, way before you talking about it today on 2024. And immediately you think that I'm copying somebody's video from 2017 where you can guarantee they learned from me. Again, wood chipper, bonfire, fertilizer, not needed, non-essential. Nobody needs a whack white rapper who tries to be like Post Malone with a little beta male voice with some emasculated emo rap songs. I'd encourage everybody to not listen to hip-hop music that came out after the 90s, to be perfectly honest. Okay? And again, just Jesuits made modern Freemasonry. I could have put Georgetown up here too. Jesuit equals 42 in the same cipher as Georgetown. Again, this nation's history, the first recognized president, George Washington. Both of those things happened in 1789. Georgetown established in January. George Washington, the president, in March. George Washington, the Freemason. Modern Freemasonry, a Jesuit creation. You learn this code, you see how things overlap again and again. Now, again, coming back to how Trump got 58% of the Electoral College, and they sync this thing up with Oprah above everybody because she's the one that foretold it. Remember, Trump won it the first time with the 58th election with all the 58 deaths. Notice, Freemasonry 58, Purple Rain 58, Rosicrucian 58, Secret Society 58. King James was a Freemason and a Rosicrucian, dropped dead at 58. LeBron King James won the finals in 2016 on the real King James's birthday. Trump has the convention there right after. In 2024, the election's on the anniversary of the Jesuits trying to assassinate King James. Also in 2016, you had the 58th Grammys. Vanity died that day, which was also the anniversary of Prince's mother's death. And then Prince died 47 days before his birthday. Prince also died 201 days before the selection. Again, Tupac Shakur also equals 58. And Tupac Shakur died on Caesar Borgia's birthday. Caesar Borgia is who Machiavelli modeled the Prince after. They put out the album Machiavelli after. After Prince died, Tupac's mom was announced dead days later on May 3rd, which is the real Machiavelli's birthday. And I just told this accurately on the Chaotic Truth. See, this is what deceivers and manipulators try to do. They're very dishonest, they're very deceptive, and they fool dummies with ease. The same woman who went on and said that I lied about when the Jesuits were created when I didn't, and then she went on and lied and made up, she just said the 1400s and didn't give any specific information, which was false. Then she also went on there and said I lied about Tupac's mom because she didn't die on the real Machiavelli's birthday. She died May 2nd. When I was on there, that's exactly what I said. I said, if you look, you'll see that she died May 2nd, but her death was not announced in the news until the next day, May 3rd, on the real Machiavelli's birthday, a few weeks after Prince died, when Machiavelli wrote The Prince. And again, Tupac died on Caesar Borgia's birthday, and The Prince is based on Caesar Borgia. And don't forget what they just did with that ballerina Dub Prince in tribute to all these things. We just talked about this. But again, when you run it in reverse, Oprah Winfrey's 58. And by the way, just with the alphabetic order alone, Oprah's 58. Oprah's 58. Oprah Winfrey's 58. Again, Trump eventually wins the 58th election after announcing from the 58-story Trump Tower. Prince of Purple Rain dies after the 58th Grammys. The Ritual with LeBron and King James. Again, modern Freemasonry was created in London, England, which is 58. Like Queen of England's 58. Remember, Trump came out to Queen, we are the champions. Prince died on the Queen's birthday. Elizabeth equals 88, like purple equals 88, like Trump equals 88, like Oprah from The Color Purple, who asked Trump in 88 if he'd want to be president someday, like how when the election was called for Trump in 2016, it was called while 88% of the vote was in. And I want you guys to think about how they report these numbers too. I mean, it is possible that they've just taken a straight up count of how many ballots were in before they actually look at the results. But it's also possible the whole thing is made up bullshit and they're just telling you the election's being called for Trump while 88% of the votes in, with 248 electoral votes in his honor, when again, President Donald Trump equals 248 and Trump's 88. But again, Purple, Elizabeth, Trump are all 88. The Republican Party's 88. Prince came out to Queen, we are the champions, at his convention in Cleveland. Years before he became the next Grover Cleveland, 88 days after the Queen's birthday, which was also 88 days after Prince died, Mr. Purple Rain, which came out in 84, the year that Reagan got reselected, where his term would end up ending in 88 as he transitioned at the beginning of 89 to his VP, Bush, who's related to Billy Bush, who Trump said, I like to grab him by the pussy to, as he beats another woman. Okay, now just adding insult to injury, from Oprah's birthday to the selection day was 281 days, which is the 60th prime. Again, this is the 60th election. Donald Trump 60, Kamala 60 years old, Tim Walz, who looks 75, supposedly 60. Again, Kamala started working on the pearl necklace with Willie Brown when he was 60. And again, just for the dopes out there, see, I couldn't even explain this on his thing because the dopes couldn't shut up. They were making fun of these 4 values of Kamala, like, oh, see, you need 4 ciphers to get the 42. It's like, you're not listening. The torch was passed to Kamala on July 21st, 123 days after Willie Brown's birthday. Chuck Schumer, the lead Democrat in the Senate, endorsed her 123 days after his birthday, days later. Freedom equals 123 in the same cipher. Kamala gave the freedom song, or not, Beyonce gave the freedom song to Kamala the same day. Remember, when Umega beat Kamala, the wrestler, that was 12 days after Trump's 60th birthday, as he goes on to win the 60th election 18 years later. That wrestling match was 116 days before Kamala's 42nd birthday. Again, Kamala, the wrestler, died 42 weeks after her own birthday, 2 days before she became the VP nominee. Biden passed the torch to Kamala 42 months after their first full day in office. Federal equals 39, like Masonry. There were some rituals with Kamala and 39, but not as much as these other numbers. And by the way, when you add 1 through 12 together, it equals 78. It's like when the Niners beat the Jets in week 1 of the season to make home teams 11-5 for the week, which I gave everybody for free. Why the Niners beat that game had plenty of value. The Niners picked up their 12th win all-time versus the Jets, and they became plus 123 in scoring differential. We had the Niners to win by at least 12. They won by 13 to get to plus 123. There was an argument for them to get to plus 122 because San Francisco equals 122, like satanic, like the Church of Satan was established in San Francisco on the 122nd meridian. But again, big value at Niners plus 12, given to everybody for free to pay tribute to the election. 49ers also equals 39 and 42. Anyway, rigged sports, rigged politics, undeniable rituals, unless you're stupid. And again, I've always talked about I've always talked about how the CIA was established on the 201st day of the sitting Pope's age, September 1847, how the words in their logo, Central Intelligence Agency, United States of America, equate to 201, how their motto, the work of a nation, the center of intelligence, equals 201, just like the Jesuit order equals 201. And look at what day Trump appoints Catholic-educated John Ratcliffe to be the head of the CIA. I mean, he could have appointed days before, but he waited to wait until the Superior General's birthday, the leader of the Jesuit order. And I'm not the one who came up with the catchphrase that CIA means Catholics in action. Again, people have been saying that for decades. Howard Hunt, one of the most famous CIA agents of all time, Howard Hunt said the CIA was Catholics in action. And he said the greatest intelligence agency in the world is the Jesuit order. because of the power of Catholic confessional, because of how much information is learned about crime through confession. And that means if you're a Catholic and you go and confess to the priest, your information's not going to stay there with the priest in a lot of circumstances. A lot of these priests are Jesuits. The Jesuits serve the Catholic Church. Don't kid yourself that the Jesuits come in there and force the priests to give information. But again, it's the dumb, it's the stupid, it's the low IQs who continue to sit here day after day and get mad at me because I'm ranting about how dumb everybody is, rather than to get mad at the people who've made them dumb. But it's the dummies who come here and think all of this stuff is somehow a coincidence every single day. It's pathetic. Yes, November 12th is the leader of the Jesuits' birthday. It was his 76th birthday. Donald John Trump, 76. Knicks hit the 76 ritual against the 76ers last night. And again, he went to Notre Dame, Catholic educated. He just turned 59, which means he began his 60th year of life. 59 is huge with the sitting Pope right now. It's why the 59th U.S. presidential election was synced up with him, where Biden was elected 46 weeks after his birthday. His name, John Lee Ratcliffe, literally equals the Jesuit order's motto, Isus Omnium Salvator. There's probably not a coincidence that he has the same birthday as Kamala. That's probably part of the joke. Two wings of the same bird, both born October 20th. He's born a year later. He was born the day Kamala turned 1. And again, this Vivek Ramaswamy, little turd who got rich off pharmaceutical scams, selling bad pharmaceutical products. That's Vivek Ramaswamy. Makes sense that he's now partnered up with the father of the jab, who declared it on Mercuralia, May 15th. And see, this is the problem with people who want to deny knowledge. Like Chaotic Truth didn't care that he even looked it up and he saw. He didn't care that Trump did it 2 years to the day of Clade X, Operation Warp Speed. He didn't care that it was 666 days before the pandemic was declared. He didn't care about the parallels in Revelation 13, where you must accept 666 if you want to buy or sell in light of what went on in this nation. Instead, he said, well, like, I don't really believe in that stuff. It doesn't matter what you believe in. It matters what these people are doing to us and how they use the Bible to mock us. Ask yourself why the 4th book of the Bible is titled Numbers, okay? And go back and, well, it's too bad my channel's been deleted 1,000 times. I mean, the day Trump got called in, I explained how he was foreshadowing the terrible prophecies of Revelation. Mike Pence equals 45 forwards and backwards, just like Holy Bible. That's why they did so many biblical rituals with the Trump. And that's why they haven't synced up with King James, who has the Bible named after him, Biblical 58. But yeah, again, I don't even want to go over this again. Jesuit equals 78. Tesla equals 78. I'm Dark Mega. His new line is 78. The leader of the Jesuits, the Superior General, it was his birthday yesterday, the day that Trump appoints him and Vivek to this Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, like Elon Musk promotes the Dogecoin. But like I've been telling you guys, all of the world of crypto is totally controlled by the Jesuits. It's so obvious. It hits its record high Bitcoin of 89,000 on 11/11, when an 89 is the 11th Fibonacci number, and there's 89 chapters in the gospel. Again, that was the same day they killed the LA coach, John Robinson, right before the Rams play in prime time. And look, for those of you guys saying why the Rams didn't win, like I showed my community, Robinson equals 106. And look up what his full name is. I forget his full name. The small way is 102. John Matthew Stafford stayed on 102 regular season wins, 106 all-time wins, and the score at halftime was 10-6 as well, to pay tribute to the coach, who died at 89. Jackie Robinson, 89. Los Angeles Dodgers, 89. Los Angeles, California, 89. 89 chapters in the gospel. The most known verse, John 3:16. John Robinson's dead on the 316th day of the leap year, right before the Superior General's birthday, who's the face of the Society of Jesus. But again, coming back to this, Jesuit 78, Tesla 78, I'm Dark Mega 78, the highest degree of the Church of Satan, I'm Dark Mega. Doesn't it just make so much sense? But again, go back and look. Here, go back and look and tell me I'm wrong about any of this. Billionaire, you see how it's 191? Look at Society of Jesus. You'll see it's 187 and 191. Tell me I'm wrong about any of this. January 7th, 2021, the 78th death anniversary of Nikola Tesla, Elon Musk is declared the world's richest man for the first time ever, again on the 78th anniversary of his death. And go read the articles. They say that he became worth 191 billion, surpassing Jeff Bezos, another Jesuit pawn, at 187 billion. And if you go back and look, that's when everything was 56. There was even an article in the first year of the pandemic that 56 new billionaires were created. And there's an article about how much Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk's net worth increased. You see how the name of the cooties is 56? And remember, Trump's Jesuit educated. His education began in 64 at Fordham, the same year Kamala was born. 2020 was 56 years later. A gazillion 56 rituals with all the Jesuit scum. Gavin Newsom, 56. Anthony Fauci, 56. Chris Cuomo, who also went to Fordham like Trump, 56, governor of New York. All over the place. Big 56 show. Gavin Newsom said, I'm locking down the state because 56% of you will have the virus in 8 weeks, which is 56 days. And again, all of these puppets, so obvious to see through. The Department of Government Efficiency is probably about killing more elderly people so they have to pay less in Social Security to trim down the budget, with the father of the jab and the guy who sold scam pharmaceutical products and got rich. Notice how all the guys, how many of you guys get scam phone calls from Indians every day where the day job is them working at these big tech companies that have all your data information, and then at nighttime trying to get you in a big tech scam? How many of you are living that life experience? And now Trump's appointed the Indian scammer from the pharmaceutical industry for his Department of Government Efficiency. By the way, here's my post from the day of the Iowa caucus, January 15, 2024, one of a million artifacts along the way. How Trump supposedly got 56,000 votes in Iowa. Vivek drops out and endorses the chump. We were saying how 115 is a lot like the date of the election, November 5th, the day leaving 56 days left in the year, because we're just a broken record over here, just talking about the same shit. I mean, I was talking about the exact same shit with him and Vivek that day. But again, like I showed you, it was Donald Trump 60, like Iowa, like the upcoming 60th election. I was pointing out then that from Trump's birthday to the Iowa caucus was 216 days into his age. That's the Cleveland area code. Grover Cleveland tribute. Again, we had the NLCS and ALCS called dead on before the playoffs began. The ALCS ended on what would have been the 216th day of Grover Cleveland's age as the Yankees knocked out Cleveland on the day leaving 73 days left in the year. ALCS 73, Grover Cleveland 73, Cleveland Guardians 73. Dummies sit there from Cleveland and go, I don't believe it. Okay, well, you didn't pad your pockets either. Voting for the chump's not going to pad your pockets either. A lot of you guys think he's going to bring back everything. Yeah, maybe momentarily until the Illuminati that owns his ass brings in the next thing they got planned. Little surge right now in the own nothing and be happy currency. Oh yeah, my digital coins are way up. Where are they at in cyberspace? They can also disappear in 2 seconds. You'll own nothing to be happy. Yeah, keep putting all your money in digital coins that are all part of a big rigged Jesuit scam. Yeah, I understand you can make money on it. You can also lose everything. They can also turn off the power and you can't access your money. All the little jokes they're going to play on you in the future. But here's what I was saying about Vivek. From his birthday, August 9th, big Jesuit day leaving 144 days left in the year. You see how he's Jesuit educated, went to Cincinnati St. Xavier High School, Jesuit educated Vivek, just coincidence. But it was 159 days after his birthday that he dropped out and endorsed the chump when Donald Trump's 159 like Scottish Rite, and then his supposed shooting on the golf course on 15/9, 159 years after the Secret Service was created. Again, just the same patterns, just keep mounting. Scottish Rite, also 78. Trump of Scottish ancestry, related to royalty, age 78, taking the White House by the numbers again. A million times we pointed this out. Cleveland 78 cards in the tarot deck. Top cards are Trump cards. Trump's birthday is the 165th day of the year. Cleveland 48 like Donald Trump, like the Cavs off to their best start in 48 years. By the way, did you guys see what they did with Chicago and Cleveland the other night in the NBA? I mean, easy all-day call right here. Monday night, trolls are out saying we had a bad day as we go 4-1. But you see how the Chicago fell to 4-7, like how Chicago, the 3-1-2 area code. You see how Cleveland got to 12-0 on 12 date numerology. See the 119? That's a big Donald number, too. He's going to take office with the 119th Congress. Tarot cards, 119. The first election called for him back in 2016 on November 9th. But, again, Chicago goes down 4-7. The guy at the face test will be like, oh, you have to use another cipher. Hey, there are other ciphers, dumbass. Donald does equal 119, like he talked to digital sheep, which were symbolic of people like you who are too stupid to get it. He talked to digital sheep 11 and 9 in his Serta ad, which came out a decade before he won the first rig selection. But yeah, Chicago also became 6-0 away in that game, like the 60th election. And the 12-0 is perfect because we called this weeks in advance how Bulls equal 12. We saw how that game was on 12. Date numerology beats Kamala 12. Again, scripted sports, scripted politics. They said Cleveland starting 8-0 the night before the rig selection was the best start for Cleveland in 48 years. Again, Cleveland's 48. They got to 8-0. Grover, Cleveland 80. The highest degree of the Church of Satan is mega. Satan's 80. Baphomet's 80. See how this works? That night, the Chiefs became 8-0, beating the other Bucks team. For the record, Cleveland beat the Milwaukee Bucks that night, like Trump had his convention in Cleveland and nominating J.D. Vance, the youngest VP nominee since Teddy Roosevelt, who was shot in Milwaukee because it's all ritual. But they got off to their best start in 48 years, beating the Milwaukee Bucks, did Cleveland the night before the election, November 4th. A retard out there is like, prove it. Okay, yeah, well, trust me, we prove it. We smoked the NBA on this night, too. We smoked the NBA every day but one day this season. And we did say, if you go back and watch, we said those 116 points suggested they would call the election for him on November 6th, exactly what they did. 114 for the Bucks. Little nod to the President of the United States. President of the United States, 114. Little nod to history, going over everybody's head, 114. Probably even a nod to LeBron. A lot of 114 rituals with LeBron, who endorsed Kamala, who was a loser. Again, LeBron was part of Trump's ritual in 2016 with Cleveland. And again, Wall equals 48, like James equals 48, like Cleveland's 48, like how LeBron had to do the show The Wall. And Matt Damon came out with the movie about the Wall on the 48th day of the year right after Trump's inauguration, because that's how they do it. That's how they do it. And by the way, you guys, when Trump takes office, the Pope will be 88 years old. Trump 88. He'll take office in 2025. Will he be 47? He could be. Or are they going to make Kamala number 47 momentarily before he becomes number 48? Like we've been saying the whole time, it could make sense. They've done a lot of rituals for Kamala. The Gerald Ford prophecy suggests she could be there. I will laugh my ass off if it happens on Thanksgiving or around Thanksgiving, because Thanksgiving this year falls on 11/28. 1128 is the 47th triangular number, and this year Thanksgiving has 47 date numerology, and again, it's associated with Indians like Kamala. So it remains to be seen. And I know Indian is 33. It's also 39 like Kamala. We'll see. And again, hey, Trump appointed the Indian pharmacy jab scammer. Kamala got in on that agenda by the numbers as well, if you remember. Kamala got her jab 70 days after her 56th birthday. If you want to go back and check, I guarantee you that was the case. 70 days after her 56th birthday, Trump became the father jab on 15/5. You see all these numbers up here, 155, 56, 142. Check out Gavin Newsom, the first Jesuit governor, first governor period to lock down his state. Same numbers. Friends with Kamala, all in the Jesuit club. He's a scammer. He's Masson trying to take people's eye off the small hats. As every face of every scandemic's a Jesuit, including RFK Jr., Jesuit educated at Georgetown, had his anti-mandate rally on Georgetown's birthday of all days. Same day, they showed a picture of John Stockton in seat 56 at Jesuit Gonzaga as they announced he was kicked out of their basketball games for not wearing his mask. It was all part of one big sick joke. Here, you see how Gonzaga University is 233? Go back and tell me I'm lying. The same day that RFK Jr. had his anti-mandate lockdown on Georgetown's birthday, January 23rd, tell me it wasn't Gonzaga University, the other Jesuit university across the nation in Washington State as opposed to Washington, D.C. Tell me it wasn't Gonzaga's or Georgetown's 233rd birthday that John Stockton, Jesuit educated, got kicked out of their basketball season. You'll go back and see it's all true. And as I'm always talking about the Jesuits and 201. Do you remember all the 201s they did with the Gonzaga losing the Baylor championship in Indiana after that game got canceled earlier in the season? Those teams were going to play in Indiana at a neutral site, but it got canceled over the cooties virus. And if you look, Aloysius Day Gonzaga died in history from flu when the cooties was coined as seasonal flu in history. And you might recall Elgin Baylor died right before that championship on March 22nd, Jesuit educated at Seattle U. The game was 201 days after his birthday. It was also 201 days before the Baylor coach's birthday. For the record, just Baylor University, 82. They won the 82nd tournament. Baylor alone's 28. Both teams finished the year on 28 points or 28 wins. Gonzaga, see, my haters hate on me because I picked Gonzaga before the year began to have a perfect season and win the championship. But you know what? The day the championship came around, I had all my people in the driver's seat, and Baylor paid 3.5 to 1 to win. And I told everybody, I said, if you took the future for Gonzaga to have the perfect season and win, realize that means you won on every single game all year for Gonzaga. So the dummies want to say, oh, that didn't happen. It's like, yeah, but you also won on every single game for Gonzaga all year. And the other thing is, I told everybody to hedge Baylor for the championship because, as I pointed out, 28 is a perfect number. And Baylor could mess up the perfect season for Gonzaga if they both stay on 28 wins. And that championship was in Indiana, the last team to have a perfect season. So that was the ritual, which we cashed on 2 times. Haters will hate. Haters will lie about the past. But that was the exact advice that day of the game. Baylor pays 3.5 to 1. If you put down 100 at the beginning of the season on Gonzaga to win, 100 on Baylor is going to win all your money back and more. And congrats on riding the perfect season all the way to the finish line. F you to the haters. All I got are haters, liars, frauds, slanderers, duplicators, imitators, wannabes. You know that fat guy in New York with the mopey energy who sits there and complains about how he has no subs because he keeps guaranteeing false picks and always wants to bring up lies about me? Oh, what happened in Cyril 56? You mean the one where we had Odell Beckham for the first touchdown at 9 to 1 and guaranteed it was going to be a 3-point game, so took Bengals with the points? Oh, yeah, that one where we cashed on too because we haven't missed a single Super Bowl. Smashed them all since we've been here. And then he always wants to bring up the Baylor championship too. It's like, yeah, we cashed big time. Rode Gonzaga through the whole perfect season and then hedged our bet championship day because we saw the 3.5 to 1 payout and the narrative for the perfect season to be scrapped. And we're right about that too. Synced up with Elgin Baylor. Jesuit educated. And then the next year with Donardo Webster out of the 201 area code, the St. Peter's Peacocks, where that year they invented Peacock Day. And the Peacocks were the Cinderella story, getting their last big, huge upset on National Peacock Day. And then Donardo Webster, their greatest player, drafted the highest in the NBA in history, died on March 22nd, a year to the day at Elgin Baylor. And then the next year, Creighton was the last remaining Jesuit school. And who was it that died? Was it Paul Silas? One of the Jesuit-educated men that went there died. And they announced it, if I'm not mistaken, on March 22nd. But I do believe he died March 21st, but still very close to the exact same ritual they'd done the 2 years prior. And a dummy will be like, oh, well, March 21st and March 22nd, though. Yeah, and the Special Olympics signups are right down the hallway. You're in the wrong room. Special Olympics are down there, okay? Over there, Special Olympic. Yeah, you can be a pig. Yeah, you can sign up and be a glorified tax collector for the state and put black men in prison for smoking plants. Special Olympics down there. People who think this is crazy, Special Olympics down the hallway. You know what I mean? So anyhow, I do got things to do, but I also had to drop some truth bombs this morning because that's all we do over here. So Lord Jamar, if you're out there, I hope you're not too butthurt. You have been talking a lot of shit about people. Again, if you're going to talk shit, you got to be able to handle it. When people talk shit about me, I can handle it because when I get to speak, I just put them back in their place and I say, oh, see, you'll still, and listen, if you hate on me, you'll always have a crowd of supporters no matter how wrong you are because I have so many haters. It's unbelievable. So don't worry. You can still lose the debate and find some support, okay? My trolls are going to fill in right behind you. They're going to lie about me. They're going to endorse you. You can lose a debate to me and you'll still have a crowd of supporters. That's the advantage of debating Zachary K. Hubbard. But people with the brain are going to know who won, okay? So if you want to debate, Lord Jamar, if you want to bring me on and not rush me off for fat, obese women talking nothing but camp, shoveling plates of food in their mouth, just making me want to vomit personally, you know. Jesse Lee Peterson, he always says, what happened to us black people? Why are we so dumb and why are we so fat and obese? You had a woman on there that was talking about what Jesse Lee Peterson's talking about. Nobody need to listen to all that camp or watch her shovel food in her mouth. Again, popularity is bullshit. We live in an age where popularity is controlled. And you should know that, Lord Jamar. You're butthurt over Diddy being way more famous than you when you're a more talented man. Here's what I'll say right now. Find a more talented truth speaker in the history of the world. You couldn't dig him out of a grave. You couldn't dig him out of a grave. Okay? Anyway, I got to sign off. I got places to be, truth seeker. Thank you to everyone who hits the like and the share. Shout out to the super chatters. CBD, Special Olympics down the hallway. That was a bad question, but thank you for the donation. Chaotic Truth is there to entertain himself and get paid. Yeah, he absolutely is. Yeah, exactly. He's not gonna, and I do. I called him out and I said, I think you're compromised, and I think there's something standing behind what you're doing. A lot of the black men online who are repping Trump, and he was trying to say that's not true, but I think it is true. I can't prove it, but I think it's true. Shout out to Rick James. Shout out to Conley RB. StreamYard link. This election. Hey, I'll do another one later. I got to go somewhere right now though. I got business to attend to. Thank you again, Mike Rawson. Shout out to Rob Antico. Thanks for the awesome work, Zach. You have been spot on and did an amazing interview on Chaotic Truth Show. I've done a few now. There's a few up there if you want to check them out. What I do appreciate about Chaotic Truth is I can tell he's thinking. He's given us a place to speak. When the trolls come on there and I say boot these trolls, he does, except for he was letting Cuts come back on too much, which I didn't appreciate. He doesn't understand how big of a weirdo Cuts is, and I didn't appreciate that. And it was a little suspect how many times he brought him back on, but what are you going to do? CBD says, double-digit IQ question. Good one. I was talking about all the promises he made, which will probably end like the wall. Okay. So, sorry, CBD. I thought you were one of my regular supporters, but sorry, it's early, and I just thought maybe you're one of these Trump people coming at me sideways. Okay, my bad. Apologies, CBD. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for coming 2 times. The next 10 times, don't give me a super chat for being mean to you. That's punishment, and that's fair. Thank you. Science Guy says, majority of people in society are idiots, and it may sound mean, but it's just the truth. Exactly. And all you little pissant lemmings, the elite know you're stupid. Just like Trump said, he appreciates all the uneducated people, and that's why they love ruling over your ass, and that's why they love making you dumber. They love making you bigger and bigger tax cattle. And if you're somebody like High Impact Flicks, who's really no impact at all, and you just showed it. I'm glad you're pounding payment High Impact Flicks, but you know what? You just proved why you should be endorsing my work. You just showed yourself going to Trump rallies all over, and you didn't have one person come along to what you were saying, even though everything you were saying was true. And what you might have learned, High Impact Flicks, is what I learned as an 18-year-old. Having truth and logic about what's going on isn't enough for the sheep. This occult thing isn't enough for a lot of the sheep either. But notice, when I go places and talk, I get people to stop and listen and think twice about their opinions, like I proved April 19, 2020, when I went to the mega rally in Washington State, and I got a whole pack of those people to stop and listen to me and ask questions and say, damn, maybe Trump is one of them. And what else did they have to do to me, Brian? They had to get armed security to come and surround me and try to force me off the campus and stand in front of the stage where they said it was an open mic, so I could not get on there. And you're kind of like them, Brian, because you won't share my work. You pretend to be about something you're not about. You're a fake, phony, and fraud, and your shit is insignificant. It's nothing. And I knew that when I was 18 because I was doing what you're doing now as a 60-year-old man when I was 18. So I might be younger, but I got way more experience when it comes to trying to wake up the sheep and being successful at it. Okay? I might only be 41 right now, but I've been at this for over 20 years. Okay. Shout out to Richard Quinn. There's not much we can do for dumb people. There will always be more. You mentioned NYC. I'll never forget it. And thank you. Thank you, Richard. Real Talk said Chaotic Truth is I'm not gonna hate on Chaotic Truth. I think there's a chance that it could end up being a very good thing in due time, but that time will tell. All right, I do got to go, Truth Seeker. We'll leave it there. Again, until next time, have a great rest of your day.